Hello everyone, and welcome to Tableau Public. Go ahead and launch Tableau Public. And make sure you've downloaded the Movies and Fans Excel file from ISMS, from the class website. Then choose Connect to a file, and pick Microsoft Excel. Go find the file called Movies and Fans and open it. When the file opens, it's going to show you the sheets that are in the file. There's a Fans sheet, a Movie sheet, and a Views sheet corresponding to the three tables. It's fairly important how we bring them in, the order in which we bring them in. So we want to go Parent here, then Child, which is the Views, and then back to Parent on the other side of Views, which is Movies. So we're going to do that. So Fans comes in first, just drag it over there. And then we'll bring in the Child table Views, and notice that it's suggesting there's probably a connection here. Doesn't know yet what it is. So it's asking down here for us to set up the primary foreign key relationship. So from the Fans table, we want the fan key, and that's going to be equal to, in the Views table, the fan FK. Now it's happy. All right, and then we'll go to Movies and drag that over as well. Bring it over here so it understands the relationship, that's also a parent, and set up that relationship. So from the Views table, it's going to be Movie FK, corresponding in the Movies table to Movie Key. And that's all there is to it. It's very similar to what you have done in Microsoft Access when you set up the primary foreign key relationships. All right, now down here across the bottom, so you've got Sheet 1, that's going to be our first worksheet, and that's actually what we're going to go to next. This little button creates a new worksheet, so after we create the first one, we'll click that to get the next guy. Then this creates a dashboard, which is a collection of worksheets. And then this last button creates a story, and a story is a collection of dashboards and potentially worksheets. So it's kind of almost like a PowerPoint presentation, but in Tableau. So we're going to go ahead and go to Worksheet. So we click on Sheet 1, and over here in this left-hand panel, it's going to show us the tables. So there's the Fans table, Movies table, and Views table, and that's very interesting what it does underneath each table. It understands which fields are numeric, and they get a number sign in front of them, like birth year is numeric. It understands which fields are text, and they get an ABC in front of them. It even tries to do some sophisticated stuff, like it said, state and city, city and state, those two go together. It has income down here, again, is numeric, and then it makes up its own numeric field, which is a count. So for every table, it throws in an extra field, which is a count of the records in that table. You can see the same thing here with Movies, Movie Key, Studio and Title are text, years numeric, and then the Rotten Tomatoes Worldwide Box, those are numeric, and Movies count, because it always throws in that extra one. And then in Views, text, 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 text. View year is numeric, Views count. Then down here, there's a special group called Measure Names. And that has latitude and longitude, which actually can be used for the city and state. In fact, you can see a little globe thing here, just like the globe thing here. So if you want to create a map, it can actually plot the city and state on the map. In fact, we'll do that. And then this last guy down here, Measure Values, is a generated field containing the values of each measure. use with measure names to blend measures. So we will actually use this measure values in order to get column headings on a numeric field when it doesn't give us the column headings. Okay, so that's the outline. Let's go ahead and get started. So our first one, we're going to do views by title. So we'll go ahead and get the movie title, and we can just double click it and it comes over there, or we could have dragged it on. Either one works. And notice it puts it up here in the rows field. And then we want to count the number of views for each title. So we'll go ahead here, and that gives us the number of views for the title. But notice it didn't give us a column heading, which we'd really like. So we'll grab the measure values and drag that on here, and then it gives us the column heading, count of views. It's also unfortunately formatted it with 2 decimal places, which we don't want because that doesn't even make sense. So we'll right click on any one of the numbers and choose format. Now as soon as I do that, this left hand panel over there to the left is going to change. See how it did? It's now changed. That's a little confusing until you get used to it. To get back, you're going to click that, but we won't yet because we still want to do something with this. And so then we click on the field that we actually want to work with. We kind of should have done that anyway, but it didn't. So we click on Count Views. The default is this number format, and we're going to pick number standard because that effectively gives a whole number. All right, so now that's looking good. Remember, you have to close this little panel to get back to where we were. And boom, we're there. Now, this isn't sorted in order. So what we'll do is we'll hover over this. And I don't know if you can see, but in the lower right corner, there's an item that would do sorting, right, with a little tiny arrow. It's really hard to see, but it really is there. And if I click on that, it sorts them in order. And so now this one is pretty much done. And the only thing that we have left is to name the tab. So I'm going to click here, double click, and type views by title. Now, before I hit enter, what's going to happen as soon as I hit enter is that this name now is going to change to match that tab, which is kind of cool. Watch. And it does, because this title is actually simply picking up the name of the tab. Now you can override that, you could highlight that and change it to something else, but we'll go ahead and keep those the same. All right, so that was our first one. Now let's go to Views by Venue. So we'll click on this New Worksheet Plus, and we're kind of going to do the same thing. So we'll grab Venue, which is here, double click it, and then we want to count views for each venue. So there's the views count. And remember, it's not giving us that column heading. We'd really like it, so we grab measure values and drag it on. And drag it onto the numbers, not above the numbers, but right on them. And we get our count of views, and then we have to change the formatting. So right click, format, and then change from fields to count views, change it to number standard. Everybody's happy, but then remember to close that little panel so you get back to this guy. Then double click here and let's name this one Views by Venue. Okay, and hit enter, and then the name pops up here as well, so we're doing well. Then let's get to views by city. So we'll start a new one. And we want this to be views by city, so we're going to double click city in there. And you can see what it's done. It's actually brought city and state and actually put them on a map. So it's assuming that we want this information mapped. And right now, in this particular case, we don't, though that's kind of cool. But I'm actually going to go away from the map by over here under this Show Me tab, simply clicking on them, the more boring but more useful for what we have in mind right now, item here, which just puts it back in tabular form. And then we're going to bring in the count of views. And give it a column heading. And then we'll do the formatting again. So right click on any of the numbers, format, fields, count of views, and pick number standard. Close that little panel. Okay, and this is views by city. Okay, and next one is going to be views by fan. So we're going to get the fan last and first, and then bring in the count of views. So now we have how many times each fan viewed. And then let's give that a title and change the formatting. Count views, number standard, close that window. And we'd like this one sorted as well. In fact, did I sort the last one? Views by city? No, I didn't. I think I'll sort that one too, so everything's sorted. Did I get views by venue? No, I didn't even sort that. Okay, well, please go back and sort those so that they're all sorted. So you have views by title, sorted, views by venue, sorted, views by city, sorted, and then this last one is views by fan. So let's name it views by fan. All right, now before going too much further, I'm going to show you kind of what we're trying to do with all of this from an organization standpoint. So notice that another one of these guys here, there's new worksheet, which we've been doing, but there's also new dashboard. So let's go ahead and click on new dashboard. And we're going to actually bring our 4 sheets onto this new dashboard. So views by title, views by venue. And now notice that as you bring this over, it's going to say, hey, do you want it split 50-50 top bottom? I don't. I want it side by side, so I'm going to put it over here. You have to keep moving until it highlights where you want it. There's views by venue. And then we'll grab views by city, put it down here, and then views by fan down here in this quadrant. So it's kind of cool. And the ones that are too long to fit, they scroll. So now we've created a dashboard, and we got to get the dashboard a name. So double click down here, and we'll call this dashboard views. And so the dashboard views has within it these 4 worksheets: views by title, venue, city, and fan. And what's pretty cool, very cool actually, about Tableau is that if you were to go back and edit any of these, that editing change would immediately be reflected in the dashboard. You wouldn't have to like recreate the dashboard or anything. So kind of cool stuff. All right, so this is exploring views and data surrounding views. Now let's explore income. So we're going to start another series of worksheets about income, and then we'll combine those into a dashboard. So we do new worksheet. And the first one is income by title. And when we say income, we're actually talking about the income of the fans, right? So kind of like for each title, what's the average income of the fans that watch that title, to give us some marketing data. So let's bring in fan last, first, and then let's bring in their income. Okay, and so this is going to be the income for each fan. So let's get a column heading here. That's income. And then let's sort that descending order and call this income by fan. Income by fan. Okay, great. And now let's start a new one. And this one's going to be income by title. So we'll bring in the movie title and then the fan income again. And this is showing kind of cumulative, like all the fans that watch that, what their income is. But we don't want sum. Instead, what we would like to have is an average. So if we're showing sum over here, we're going to click here where it says measure is sum. We're going to flip that to average. And so now you actually have the income by the average income for each title, the average fan income of fans that watch that title. And then we'll go ahead and bring this on so we get a column heading, and we'll call this one income by fan. Income by fan. Oh no, we had income by fan. Income by title. Income by title. There we go. And then let's sort that in. So we can see that Iron Man 3 seems to pull in, and Venom seem to pull in the highest wage earners of the fans. So that demographic. So it gives us some sort of insight. Okay, so that's income by fan, income by title. And let's get income by city as well. So let's grab the city. And notice how it always wants to map it because it likes to map. We'll bring it back, and then let's bring in the income. Remember, it's giving us a sum of all the incomes in that city, and let's change that measure to an average. So that's the average income. And then use the measure values to get a column heading. And then let's sort it. So it turns out that Youngstown has the highest income in this database. Okay, and so that's income by city. All right, and now we have 3 more that we can combine into a dashboard. So we'll start a new dashboard, and we'll bring those 3, the 3 income ones. So income by fan, income by title, and then income by city. We'll put that down here. So it's kind of cool. All right, and we'll call this one income. The next thing that we'll do is some visualizations, because the system really wants to. So we'll start a new sheet. Remember the new worksheet button. And we'll do an income map and an income distribution sheet. So let's first do the income map, because it's really wanted us to map that for a while now. So there's city, state, and then we want income. All right, and what it's effectively done by the size of these circles is shown us the income in those areas, but it's again sum, and we don't want that. We want average. So there's the average income in each city represented as a circle, with the bigger circle meaning higher income in that city. And so we'll call this one income map. And the problem is that we don't actually have the city names. I mean, other than hovering over them, we actually get the city names. So we would like to fix that. So let's grab city and drag it over the label icon right here and see if it'll actually give us the city names. And notice how it does, which is kind of cool as well. Okay. And let's get one more visual, another worksheet. And this is going to be the income distribution. So we'll grab income over here, and then over here on the Show Me tab, we'll pick a histogram, and that gives us our income distribution. It's also created over here under tables a bin for income, because it's actually showing how it's got it distributed. But we can edit the size of those bins, because sometimes it just picks a bin size that it likes, even though cognitively it doesn't really kind of amount to anything you do normally use. Like, for example, this one looks like it's around 11,000 or something like that. So we can come over here, edit the bin. Yeah, see, it's 11,405. But I think we tend to think in terms of 10,000. Increments of $10,000. And then that just refactors it. So this is showing that we've got 4 fans that are 0 to 10K in income, 2 fans 10 to 20, 1 fan 20 to 30, and 5 fans 30 to 40, etc. So let's go ahead and name this one. This will be income distribution. All right. And we'll combine those two in a dashboard. So make another new dashboard. This time we'll do an over-under, so because it'll fit better. So there's the map, and then let's drag the distribution, but this time drag it underneath the map, like that. So you've got your income distribution and your map, and then this legend here is effectively showing how much each of those circles corresponds to in terms of actual average income. All right, and we'll call this one income visuals. Great. All right, we're getting close to the end here. We're going to do a couple of scatter plots. So we'll start a new worksheet. And this is going to be revenue versus rating. So we'll grab revenue, which is the worldwide box revenue. Oh, let me undo. I think I'm just going to toss it in by double clicking because it seems to work better. Okay, there's revenue. And then we want the Rotten Tomatoes rating, so double click on that as well. It doesn't really know what to do with all of that, like, kind of how to handle it. So it's confused. It's got basically one dot, and these guys are up here. So it is really confused about what to do. So we're going to tell it what to do. We're going to click on this drop-down arrow, and instead of that being a measure, we're going to tell it that it's a dimension instead. And we're going to do the same thing for the other guy. All right, and now we actually get our scatter plot that is plotting the Rotten Tomatoes score versus the worldwide box, which is what we had in mind. And we can also add a trend line to it. If we right-click, pick trend line, show trend line, and that shows us the trend line. Not only does it show us the trend line, but if you hover over it, it also gives you some information about the trend line, including the R-squared, which is actually very low, and the p-value, which is too high. So basically, it's saying don't use this trend line for anything. It's not really valuable because it really doesn't explain much in the data. But still want to show it to you because you can get a trend line. And we will call this one. This is revenue versus rating. Revenue v rating. Great. Let's get one more scatter plot, another new worksheet. And we'll make this one age versus income. So let's find age. Age, where are you? Well, age is represented by birth year. So there it is. It was hiding up at the top. So birth year. Kind of cool how that brings it in when you initially click on it. And then income. And there's income down here. Don't use the income bin because that's for the histogram. We want the income that has the number sign in front of it. All right, and same thing here. We have to tell it, like for example, for this sum income, that we simply want that to be a dimension. And then it's actually doing the scatter plot. Let's add the trend line by right-clicking. Show trend lines. And let's see this trend line. This one's a little bit meaningful. The R-squared is 22%. It's not fantastic, but it's something. It's helping to explain the data. And the p-value is small, so that's good. So it looks like it's statistically significant. So this trend line more meaningful than the last one. And what we're seeing here is that as your age goes down, right, because your birth year is getting closer to today, then your income is going down also. So I know it's older people seem to have a bit more money. So we'll call this age v income. All right, and then we'll combine those two in a dashboard. So we'll have revenue versus rating and age v income. And we'll do this also because it fits better as a high-low kind of dashboard. And we'll call this one correlations. Okay, we got a lot of stuff. Now we'll go to the story tab, which is the last one. And we're starting our story. And the story is Movies and Fans, so let's go ahead and name that. Movies and Fans. And then it repeats the name up here for our story. And now all we're interested in bringing into our story are the dashboards that we created. Since we've already combined the worksheets into dashboards, we can just bring in the dashboard. So we'll bring in our views dashboard here. Right? And we'll add a caption to that. And call it views, because that's what it is. Then we want another page, kind of like another slide in a PowerPoint presentation, to our story. New page is called a point, so it says new story point. So we'll hit blank to get a new story point. Then it adds it. And we'll grab our next dashboard that we created, which was income. Drag it in. And this one is income. Then another new story point. And the next one down is income visuals. So let's grab income visuals. And call it income visuals. And then another blank story point. And grab the correlations and call it correlations. Okay. Now, to look at your story, you click on the different items on the navigation bar. So there's the views, there's the income visuals, and there are the correlations. This then is what you're going to publish on the website. So you come over here to this little button that says Save to Tableau Public, and you call it Movies and Fans. Hit Save. And now we're in the middle of the viz. They call them vizzes, V-I-Z. And notice that on the Tableau Public website, it responds exactly the same way as it did in the app. It's kind of neat. Then to turn this in, all you do is click here on the share button. And there's a link down here. Click on it. That highlights it. And then on an Apple, Command-C, or Windows, Control-C, copy that link, go into ISMS, and paste that link in the Dropbox, and that's how you turn in your assignment. And then you're all done. So, hope you found it entertaining and enjoyable. Good luck, and please reach out if you have any questions. By the way, you can also share this viz with anyone in the world. Send anyone in the world this link. They can look at the kind of cool stuff that you're doing.